Now on Nightside, the Moscow murder suspect claims to have an alibi for the night of the crime, why his defense team says he couldn't have done it.
It's going to be a cool night across the inland northwest, but temperatures will be climbing back into the 90s in the first alert forecast.
Crews from the Washington Department of Ecology are removing diesel from a creek in Cheney. Who's responsible for the spill? You're watching 4 News Now Nightside. A leak at a Cheney gas station. The fuel was draining into a local creek.
On the wind, like overwhelming, burn your eyes, smell of diesel fuel.
Tonight we have a better timeline for how long it will take to clean up the spill. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Aaron Luna. Kirsten has the night off. The Cheney fire chief called it the elephant in the city. New on Nightside, Aranya Kaur explains how it's getting cleaned up.
The Cheney fire chief says the Department of Ecology is the lead agency responding to the spill. He told the Cheney City Council this evening the department is in its response phase, and it will be several weeks before everything is cleaned up. Chief Tom Jenkins explained the diesel that was spilled in Minnie Creek is red dye diesel, and the only place in the city that has that is the Chevron. The chief says the underground tank leaked, allowing the diesel to seep into a catch basin before flowing down a culvert into the creek. The Chevron emptied the red dye diesel, and they've plugged the channel that runs into the creek and flushed it through the system.
If Department of Ecology is here or not here. Well after Department of Ecology comes in and cleans this up, we have a responsibility to make sure that we're still taking care of our citizens and addressing their concerns and needs.
At this point, the fire chief says the spill won't affect any personal wells. The Department of Ecology will spend the next few days cleaning up any remaining diesel and then remove any contaminated soil. KXLY will be following these cleanup efforts closely. For all future updates and for our previous coverage, you can go to our website at kxly.com. In studio, Rania Kaur, 4 News Now.
It was a nice break from the heat today, though temperatures are rising right back up later this week. Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker can tell us when that he's expected to return. Chris?
Oh, it is showing up in the 7-day forecast, but we can enjoy some cooler weather for a little bit longer. Here's our highs today. Look at all the 70s on the map. These temperatures between 5 and 10 degrees below average around the region. 77 in Colville, Bonners Ferry, and Sandpoint. Also in the 70s in St. Mary's, Omak, and Grand Coulee. It was 80 today in Pullman and 89 in Lewiston. Temperatures right now are cooling down quickly. The gusty winds of today have died down. The skies have cleared, and we're already in the 50s in Colville and Pullman. We are looking at temperatures at 54 in Deer Park. I don't think it's 71 in Spirit Lake. Maybe having some trouble with the thermometer, especially when you consider it's only 59 just down the road in Hayden. Our overnight lows tonight will be dropping into the 40s in many locations. 50 degrees in Spokane. That is running below average by almost 10 degrees. 54 in Coeur d'Alene. Will be in the 40s in Colville, Sandpoint, and Pullman. A cool start to the day, and we're heading up to a high of 81. Lighter winds. The breeze will pick up a little bit in the afternoon, up to 15 miles per hour, but that is down from the 30-mile-per-hour gusts of today. 87 is our average high. We're going to be back in that ballpark in the 7-day forecast. I'll tell you what to expect in just a few minutes, Aaron.
Thank you, Chris. The city of Spokane is being asked to conserve even more water. Low river levels have triggered a level 2 drought response ordinance. Slow river flow affects the water that goes into the Ratrum Prairie Aquifer. That's where we get our water supply. According to the city, the river is flowing at less than 1,000 cubic square feet per second. And that's more than 2 times slower than July of last year. People are now being asked to refrain from watering outdoors between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Watering should be limited to 2 days a week and no more than 2 hours a day. Water is also not to be used for cleaning sidewalks, driveways, decks, or patios.
Our river is really impacting how much water is going into the aquifer, and then the aquifer releases it back out into the river. So it's really constantly engaging and flowing in between each other.
Right now, there are no fines or repercussions for not following the water restrictions. For more information, go to our website, kxly.com. Because of the drought conditions, other cities in our area have also implemented water restrictions, including Airway Heights. Families are being told to conserve as much water as possible and to water their lawns every other day. For a full list of restrictions, look for this story on KXLY.com. Extreme weather is impacting millions across the country. Relentless heat is still baking the Southwest, but it's now also moving into the Midwest and the Plains states. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
From Montana through the Great Plains to Southern California, 45 million Americans under heat alerts across a dozen states.
It's been so hot.
You feel like you're in an oven and you feel like you're getting suffocated.
Phoenix now with a record stretch, 25 consecutive days of temperatures at 110 degrees or higher. Officials there say heat-related emergencies have increased during this heat wave.
We have hot summers every year. This one is a little bit more exceptional because it's a longer duration of the triple-digit heat.
Valleywise Health in Phoenix says 2/3 of their patients are experiencing contact burns from the pavement, where surface burns can reach 180 degrees.
Most people don't realize that the pavement, concrete, cement, sidewalks, rocks, in bright sunlight on a hot afternoon, it only takes a fraction of a second to get a really bad burn.
Across the country in national parks, there have been at least 5 heat-related deaths. Officials in Southern California warning hikers to take precautions when venturing out, like bringing twice as much water as you think you need.
Almost every time they say, well, I was expecting it to be that hot. I was expecting it would run out of water. Dehydration starts very quickly.
In Florida, a buoy in Manatee Bay recorded a high ocean temperature of 101.1 degrees on Monday afternoon, an uncommonly high temperature, which could break a global record, but experts saying the data is preliminary. Meanwhile, the Midwest now preparing for unbearable heat, Minneapolis opening cooling centers to offer some relief. Later this week here in the Northeast, we could see the first heat wave of the summer with 3 days in the 90s, but it will be short-lived with things expected to cool off in the first week of August. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Well, time for a quick look at sports. I'm Julian Minnesone. The United States women's soccer team is the favorite to win the World Cup this year. But the U.S. will have its hands full tomorrow when it takes on the Netherlands. This will be a rematch of the 2019 World Cup final.
They have a lot of the same players as we played them in the
6 o'clock tomorrow night. Live in the studio, Julian Minnesone. 4 News Now Sports.
Julian, thank you. The defense team for the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students claims to have evidence he was somewhere else at the time of the murders. Court documents reveal Brian Kohberger's plan on using an alibi defense, meaning his lawyers will attempt to prove that he couldn't have committed the murders because he was somewhere else. The defense saying evidence corroborating the fact will come out during the trial, which is set to begin in October. The driver of a landscaping truck fell asleep behind the wheel and crashed through a fence. Happened around 9:30 this morning on West 12th Avenue, east of Flint Road. The owner of the landscaping company says his driver fell asleep just 2 blocks away from the job site. The owner says his company will pay for the damage. The house wasn't hit. No one was hurt. 2 organizations will soon have more resources to help them combat mental health issues in Spokane's young people. And if you love game shows, get ready to watch some reruns. Why you may not see new Jeopardy contestants for a while. And a medical milestone in the U.S., the story of how a uterus transplant helped one couple grow their family. That's next on Nightside.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by the Tin Roof.
Our idea of the perfect day? You, your best friend.
Yeah, buddy. You ready to run?
And Quattro all-wheel drive. Own the elements in the Audi Q5.
Let's go, buddy.
Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Pop the champagne, humanity. We've done it.
Celebrate your night with big winners, shocking thrills, and living legends.
No, I've always thought of you as Dave Jr.
Oh, every hair on my body is standing up right now.
Jimmy Kimmel Live, weeknights on ABC.
As state senator, Lisa Brown increased taxes by $2 billion while raising her own pay. Under her watch, homelessness rose by 25,000. Now she's backed by the Defund the Police crowd. Lisa's soft on crime, hard on taxpayers.
I pledge to increase police presence and tackle homelessness, and we have. Our Violent Crimes Task Force has lowered crime rates, and we're compassionately addressing homelessness. We're exceptional, Spokane. I'll keep it that way. I'm Nadine Woodward, and I approve this message.
Spokane and North Idaho's country leader.
It goes like one margarita.
Bluebird in my heart. Baby, you're playing hard to forget. The big 99.9 Coyote Country.
Why join UFCW 3000? I'm the lead person when we negotiate with employers for better wages, benefits, and working conditions.
I'm an essential worker.
During the pandemic, we couldn't work remotely.
We are workers in grocery stores,
healthcare, retail, and packing plants.
Thanks, UFCW 3000.
Our website can both answer your questions and connect you with our team who can help you explore your union opportunities.
4 News Now is brought to you by R&R RV.
Here are 4 things to know about your weather. It's going to be a cool Wednesday morning with clear skies. Lows for the rest of the work week in the lower to mid 80s. We do have a warming trend, but the extreme heat looks like it is going to hold off for a while. Our current winds down considerably from earlier today. In fact, calm conditions in Spokane Valley and Pullman. We'll continue to see those relatively light winds overnight. 50 for an overnight low. It's about 10 degrees below average. 81 for a high tomorrow with sunny skies, winds up to 15 miles per hour in the afternoon. Here's a look at our weather patterns starting on Wednesday. The coolest air is well to our north over Canada, but we are in a westerly flow, and that's what's brought some of that cool air off of the Pacific into the inland northwest. As we get into Thursday, our flow is going to become a little more southwesterly. That's where we bring up the warmer air, and even more so on Friday. However, it is going to be a gradual warming trend, and really it looks like we're just going to be ending up back up around average by Friday and through the weekend. A couple of degrees above, a couple of degrees below. This white line right here is average, and then possibly getting back up into the 90s next week. Still coming into focus on just how hot it's going to get next week. Meanwhile, our high temperatures tomorrow will be in the 70s and 80s around the region. Low 80s in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. 92 in Lewiston. Looks like not as many 70s on the map tomorrow as there were today, but we're really only warming up a degree or two. A little bit warmer Thursday, and then heading into the weekend with seasonably warm temperatures. We're in the hottest time of the year from a climatology standpoint, and the weather is keeping up with it. Absolutely dry conditions right on through the end of the 7-day forecast. I'll be back in just a few minutes to let you know just how far behind average we are on precipitation. It's a lot, Aaron.
Chris, thank you. Well, more funding is now coming to 2 Spokane organizations to help with youth mental health and people experiencing homelessness. United Healthcare is donating more than $200,000 to address those needs in our community. $150,000 will be going to Volunteers of America. The organizations tell us this will move its behavioral health unit forward. The grant supports permanent, supportive, and transitional housing.
Of homelessness is huge, and all the individuals that we provide services to, they can all benefit from behavioral health.
The National Alliance on Mental Illness Spokane will receive $70,000. Funding will be for outreach related to youth organizations and schools. It will also help increase conversations around youth mental health and ways to receive support. Some Jeopardy champs say you won't see them competing until the writer's strike is resolved. Jeopardy's team of writers come up with the clues read by the host, being that they're members of the Writers Guild of America. They're currently on strike. So is host Mayim Bialik, as she is a member of SAG-AFTRA. Hollywood productions drastically slowed down as writers went on strike on May 2nd. What remaining productions there were have nearly all stopped after SAG-AFTRA began its strike on July 14th. NBA star LeBron James's oldest son, Bronny James, recovering tonight after suffering a health scare during basketball practice. That's next on Nightside.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Don't need glasses? See us for your contacts and save on your annual supply.
Set summer in motion with the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Like the CR-V and the Accord, both with available hybrid powertrains, designed to deliver more thrilling performance and more innovative tech. Make every adventure more electrifying with Honda, the most awarded brand in Car and Driver 10 Best history. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
Beat the heat. Always water before 10 a.m. or after 6 p.m.
What's good about River Ridge Hardware and how we stand out as a neighborhood hardware store, when a customer comes in, it's our opportunity to help them with whatever project they're doing, whether it's painting or building something new. We truly want to help you. What makes Peter's Hardware Store stand out in the neighborhood is it is eclectic type hardware store since 1934. And yes, we're the oldest working hardware store in Spokane. It's really a fun place to visit.
Car versus people. It's a story 4 News Now reports all too often.
There's no area of town that's immune to this problem.
Why does it keep happening and how can we stop it? I'm Robin Nance. I'm talking with Spokane Police to get answers. Thursday at 6 on Good Morning Northwest.
It's live with Kelly and Mark. Every weekday morning.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. only on 4 News Now.
Your child's eyes are a crucial part of their learning. Get a clear picture of their eye health and vision changes from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Visit Shopko Optical to ensure your child is seeing and learning how they are supposed to.
4 News Now is brought to you by Mechanics Pride.
We're in the hottest time of the year. We're also in the driest time of the year, but it's been unusually dry in 2023. No precipitation today. We've only measured a little over 6.5 inches of rain at the airport, running well below average. We've been running below average every single month this year. This brown part of the box is what our average precipitation would be, and we're down here in the green. We've had, as I mentioned, 6.66 inches of precipitation. In November and December alone, we had just about that much. Meanwhile, let's take a look at our drought monitor. We are in the moderate range. This is updated every Thursday, and things have been going downhill fairly rapidly. We are in severe drought in the central panhandle and in portions of extreme northern Idaho Panhandle and northeastern Washington. The long-range forecast, 8 to 14 days, August 2nd through the 8th, is calling for above-average precipitation, but I feel that very doubtful that that is going to pan out. I am much more confident in the temperature forecast, the 2nd through the 8th, of above average temperatures. Speaking of hot weather, Phoenix, 119 today, a new daily record. The previous was 116. That is the 26th consecutive day of 110 or higher. The previous record was 18 days, but we've been setting a new record every day there. Beautiful sunset tonight from Mount Spokane, one of my favorite views any time of year from Andra Derrickson. This is looking down the Northwood Chair, or Chair 6, to the west. And boy, what a spectacular sight. It is awfully dry in the foreground, though. That's the only thing I don't love about this beautiful photo. Aaron?
Oh, Chris, thank you. It's a medical milestone in the U.S. For the first time outside a clinical trial, a uterus transplant recipient has delivered a healthy baby. When Mallory was a teenager, she learned she was born without a uterus and would never be able to biologically carry a child. Mallory's sister was a surrogate for them, carrying Mallory and Nick's first daughter. But as their little girl grew, she started pushing her parents for a brother or sister.
The minute she could talk, she was always asking for a sibling. So I feel like our trying to have another one was for her purposes.
Mallory and her husband Nick decided to participate in a program at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and soon they were accepted. At first, Mallory went through a uterus transplant, followed 9 months later by an embryo transplant. More than 2 decades after her diagnosis, Mallory defied the odds, giving birth to her son.
You're both in shock.
Yeah, I think that's the best way of putting it.
The University of Alabama is one of 4 uterus transplant programs in the U.S., the first outside a clinical research trial. UPS and the Teamsters Union have reached a deal to avoid a nationwide strike that would have started next week. Workers still need to ratify the deal to avoid a walkout. Teamsters president said in a statement, quote, UPS has put $30 billion in new money on the table as a direct result of these negotiations.
Tensions are high, emotions are high. This is good. This is a start. I mean, the language is there, but if everything they said is true, we're happy about it.
UPS saying the deal is a win-win. Now to a summer safety alert for anyone running alone. ABC's Becky Worley spoke to a self-defense expert about how to protect yourself. Take a look.
How many of you have ever been running and something weird happened that made you uncomfortable?
For these runners in Nashville, Tennessee, putting one foot in front of the other is good for their mental and physical health. And millions safely engage in the sport of running every day. But
multiple passes of a car
driving
a
by.
lot of times.
That sounds
someone crossing the road. So then I'll cross to the other side.
So they're coming to your side.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been flashed twice. Oh, whoa. Like the literal jump out of the bush kind of thing. Yeah.
Self-defense expert Pat Thurman makes it her mission to help runners take control of their safety.
Let me know when I'm in your personal space.
Her first tip, situational awareness. If something doesn't seem right, you need to act fast.
At 21 feet, a person can come at you in 1.5 seconds. Whatever it is that you need to do, but you need to do it this distance. Do I need to run? Do I need to hide, or do I need to fight?
Pat says we are often too polite to act, but that asserting yourself early can make a difference.
Look, back up!
Or use a whistle or an electronic alert like the birdie. Also, phones and watches now have emergency features that let you call for help with a single button.
If I feel like I'm not safe, I can hold this button for 3 seconds and it'll immediately call the police.
But Pat says sometimes it's about physically defending yourself.
Get off me! Leave me alone!
And she recommends tools like a Kubaton, a pointed metal sheath that can fit into the side pocket of running tights.
It is a pain compliance tool. It will create pain where your regular fist would not.
Or a stun gun, which is legal for self-defense in 48 states. Be sure to check yours for the rules.
The reason why I carry this one is because if somebody were to try to take this from me, it pops loose, it's no longer usable.
And she shows me how to use pepper spray correctly. It's legal nationwide, but again, check specific rules on licensing or size limits for your state or city.
You want to try to get the eyes, nose, and mouth.
Oh.
So it's not a straight-on spray. You kind of like, it's like a zigzag, like Zorro.
Okay, and I would yell at them.
Yeah. Leave it alone! Stay back!
Get back!
There you go.
The goal to give runners new awareness and tools to feel safe.
Julio Rodriguez led a late-inning comeback for the Seattle Mariners. How the team was able to rally around its all-star outfielder. Coming up next in sports.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Spokane County Emergency Management.
Welcome to Generation Gap.
Thursdays.
What is Secretariat?
A secretary? That's a woman?
Kelly Ripa hosts the comedy game show where nobody acts their age. Juniors and seniors work together to flex their pop culture knowledge for big prizes and bigger fun.
Who is this Mr.? Mr. Rockstar? Mr. T is going to be very upset with all of us.
Generation Gap, Thursdays on ABC and stream on Hulu.
I'm Mark Peterson, the Extreme Team and Horizon Credit Union, ready to take on the next task. If you know of a project that needs an Extreme Team makeover, go to KXOY.com to nominate it. 4 News Now Extreme Team brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. You can go farther, tow more, and bring along everyone you love. Your road to happiness begins in a new Chevy. Get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT Turbo Max pickups, or get $5,250 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Save thousands on the new Revolutionary Swim Spa at a one-time sale. Friday through Sunday. 2 locations, Spokane and Pasco. Exercise with low impact. Swim the entire year and stay in shape. Teach your kids to swim. Unwind and save thousands. Avoid the expense and maintenance involved with a pool. Swim, exercise, and relax in your new aquatic exercise swim spa. Installation and 1 day only. New 2023 inventory. 18-month interest-free financing. Millions of dollars of inventory must be sold. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center and Hapo Center. Free admission. Free parking. Call 833-SPA-SALE.
Get a free Makita Impact Driver Kit or a Pit Boss Grill now. When you build a deck with wood decking or TimberTech or Trex composite decking and railing from Par, visit par.com for details.
What are you going to build?
The news of LeBron James' son, going into cardiac arrest while playing basketball at USC, marks the second athlete this year that has had a life-threatening cardiac event while playing their sport. The first being Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin, who went into cardiac arrest during a Monday night football game. That was back in January. In these high-profile cardiac events, many people credited trainers on the sidelines ready to jump into action. Tools like automated external defibrillators, or AEDs, have played a large role in their survival. Logan Sumner is the lead athletic trainer at Lewis and Clark High School in Spokane, and while he says he has never needed to directly utilize his knowledge on how to respond to a cardiac event, it is something they're always prepared for.
Oftentimes we'll see cardiac events in younger population, and the reason why is sometimes there's an underlying condition that just flies under the radar that we don't necessarily see, or it doesn't have a glaring symptom that we're looking down the barrel at.
Sumner says while AEDs are becoming more widespread, there is a shortage of athletic trainers monitoring youth sports. He is hoping the attention brought to trainers by both high-level situations shows how valuable they are when it comes to saving lives.
Now, if you stayed up late to finish watching that Seattle Mariners game last night, you probably went to sleep pretty upset. Welcome into sports. I'm Julian Minnesome. Colton Wong's heroic 9th inning home run wasn't enough as the Mariners lost last night's game in 10 innings to the Minnesota Twins. Now, Seattle took the field again tonight, hoping to give fans something to smile about when they went to sleep. First inning, Mariners already trailing by 2. Matt Wallner increases the lead for the Twins. 4-0 Minnesota after the Wallner home run, and that's not what I was talking about right there. Now, Seattle is losing, but they have a guy named Julio Rodriguez, and Minnesota does not. Rodriguez gets Seattle on the board with a home run of his own right here. Now, here is Rodriguez once again in the 8th inning with the Mariners trailing by 2, and Rodriguez does it again. It was Rodriguez's second multi-homer game of his career, and we are tied. Now, top of the 9th we go, bases loaded for Seattle. Eugenio Suarez must have eaten his Wheaties this morning. Suarez comes up clutch. That gives Seattle the lead. Now, the Mariners come back on the Twins for the second straight night, only this time they hold on. Mariners make up for last night's debacle. 9-7 is the final score. It was Rodriguez's, as I mentioned, his second multi-homer game of his career. The Spokane Indians on the road taking on the Eugene Emeralds, and this one got off to a slow start. Spokane's Roniker Palma at the plate here, grounding one through the gap near second to get some offense going for Spokane as he picks up a single. Next batter, it'll be Braden Ward for the Indians. Ward will be at the plate here. He's going to watch this pitch as Palma will take off for second base. The throw is there, and he's called out at second. Tough break for Spokane. Bottom of the second now, runner on base for the Emeralds. It'll be Averson Ortega. He'll blast this one to deep left field. The outfielder gives it a chase, climbs the wall, but it's out of his reach, and a home run, a 2-run home run that is, as the Indians fall 7-1. This is the first of 12 straight games on the road for Spokane. And Gonzaga basketball will be heading to Hawaii in November, but I doubt the team will be packing any swim trunks or snorkeling gear. It'll be all business for the Bulldogs as they'll be playing in the Maui Invitational, and they'll be matched up against one of the best teams and players in the country. Gonzaga will take on Purdue in the first round of the Maui Invitational. Purdue was a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament last season. The Boilermakers are also returned reigning National Player of the Year, Zach Edey. Gonzaga has lost all 3 meetings against against Purdue, including an 18-point loss at the Phil Knight Invitational in Portland last season. Gonzaga and Purdue are scheduled for 2 o'clock on November 20th. Here is the rest of the bracket. Other notable teams in the tournament include Tennessee, Syracuse, Kansas, UCLA, and Marquette. And by the time you finish lunch tomorrow, the Seattle Seahawks will already be sweating. The Seahawks kick off training camp on Wednesday, and Seattle is coming off a 9-win season in which they made an unlikely trip to the playoffs. But with the amount of talent on the roster this year, going to the playoffs is now an expectation and not a surprise. The Seahawks re-signed quarterback Geno Smith after winning the Comeback Player of the Year award last season. Seattle also added to its talented defense, and that's not just about 5th overall pick Devin Witherspoon right there. The Seahawks returned Pro Bowl safeties Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. Head coach Pete Carroll has praised this group throughout the entire offseason.
We've got guys that have been there and done that, that are willing to share their ideas and share their scars of the mistakes they've made, and we keep challenging them. And what's most important is we continue to communicate really well. So we're making sense to them, and they hear us, and they take note. And these guys are really responsible. They're going to respond in that they'll meet all of their deadlines. They'll call in. They'll do all of their stuff, and to keep so we can keep track of them. And that's all we can really ask for.
Seahawks training camp starts tomorrow and ends on August 16th. And that'll wrap us up for sports. We'll be right back.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
If your checking account isn't earning you money, it's time to switch to bonus checking from Numerica. The account that earns an incredible 2% annual percentage yield. That could earn you up to $500 every year or more.
This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. You can go farther, tow more, and bring along everyone you love. Your road to happiness begins in a new Chevy. Get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT Turbo Max pickups, or get $5,250 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. See your hometown Chevy dealer today.
This is your summer to smile, to raise your glass and reconnect, to reel in the fun and serve up great times. To help you get ready, your Aspen Dental team is celebrating 25 years of affordable care with an epic Summer of Smiles event. Right now, new patients without insurance get a free full exam and x-rays. Plus, everyone can get 20% off their treatment plan. But hurry, because while these summer savings won't last, the memories you make together will. Aspen Dental. Book today.
Don't miss the $50,000 Sunday hot seats at Northern Quest. That's Sunday with an E on the end and a cherry on top. It's a play on words. July, Sunday, hot seats, you get the idea. And it's happening noon to 4 p.m. every Sunday with a Y in July. Don't overthink it. Just swipe your Camus card and be playing your favorite machine when your name is called. The $50,000 Sunday with an E hot seats every Sunday with a Y in July. Only at Northern Quest.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
Here's your 7-day forecast. Another look, lots of 80s, which is about average for this time of year. Tomorrow, however, will be crisp when you first wake up. It'll feel good.
That will feel good.
Yeah, I enjoy a cool morning.
You know who else enjoys cool mornings? Mermaids, apparently.
Oh.
And if you've never met a professional mermaid, well, here you go. That's Echo. The University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee student is working on a master's degree in freshwater sciences. In her spare time, she works as a professional mermaid. Echo says that entails teaching children about inclusion, aquatic safety, and conservation.
I knew they were real.
Freshwater mermaid as opposed to seawater mermaid.
Yes.
Different.